Thank you, Ursula. Are there any questions by council members? Seeing none, I'm not sure whether Barbara McEwan can answer any of Ursula's questions this morning. I think she raised a number of points. If not, I think it would be appropriate if you took the time to sit down and meet with Ursula to see if you can answer some of the questions and address her concern. But I'll give you the opportunity, Barbara, if you wish.
Could I just add one thing about that?
Very briefly.
Yeah. I went to City Clerk, spoke to Ms. Greer. Then I was sent to Internal Audit, spoke to Ms. Ing, Sally Ing. Then I went to Legal Services, spoke to them. Then I even spoke to the Director of Information Technology. None of them could adequately explain the implications of this bylaw.
And I'm suggesting that the appropriate person is our Freedom of Information Coordinator, which is Barbara McEwan, and that's why I suggested that it would be appropriate to meet with her. But go ahead,
yes,
Barbara.
Madam Acting Mayor, through you, I'd be very pleased to meet to review all of the background in terms of how the bylaw amendments were brought forward. But in terms of the points that were raised this morning, I just wanted to confirm a few details. Ms. Cooper-Bennett has correctly noted that email is a record, and we do recognize it as such in our records retention bylaw. I guess the constraints that we operate under here at the City of Mississauga is that our email is an electronic system, and we don't really have a document management system that allows us to manage the retention of the email records electronically. In other words, the emails are stored in the system, but we don't have an easy sort of a way of taking each email as it's dealt with and indexing it and applying the correct retention that we're required to do under the records retention bylaw. So the alternative to that, which is practiced by most corporations, I mean public and private sector organizations that are dealing with this all the time, our policy at the City of Mississauga is that if we do receive an email and it is related to a business transaction of the city, it does qualify as a record, and our policy states that the email is printed and it is placed in the appropriate file. And that way we can manage that record effectively in accordance with the retention periods that are in our bylaw. So in effect, we're not destroying records, we're actually taking a pragmatic approach to managing the electronic mail by making sure that a hard copy is retained and placed in the appropriate file. Now, the amendments that are in the bylaw that refer to retention for 30 days and 90 days and so forth, this refers to the tapes that we have, the backup tapes that we have, and really is in terms of sort of a transitional management. But the records are kept there depending on when the weekly backup is done. But as I said, our practice at the city, which is widely practiced, is that if it's related to the business of the city, the email is printed, it's placed in the file, and then we can manage it effectively in terms of retention.
Okay, thank you. I think there's probably much more to what Ms. McEwan had to say this morning, and once again, if you'll contact her, Ursula, and meet with her to see whether your concerns can be addressed. Next, we have